Welcome to the Morrell Speaks podcast, season 2, episode 5. This is going to be a great episode. We have a very special guest with us on this episode. I'm super excited to have him on. We have one of Marion's rockstar attorneys. He's currently the attorney for the city council in Marion, Indiana, and he does so many other things, and he's been a great wealth of knowledge for me to learn from, and I'm excited to hear what he shared with you all today about his life experiences, his legal practice, and what it's like to be an attorney in Marion, Indiana. So, without further ado, welcome Marty Harker.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Glad to be here.
I always start every show off with the same question. Tell me who you are. So who is Marty Harker?
Well, I'm a Marion native. I grew up here, and went away to college and law school, and returned back to work in a law firm that my grandfather was one of the original members, and I've had the luxury of practicing law with my father for the last 25 years, and so it's been a rewarding experience to be in the community. It's been a pleasure to represent different people, different businesses, different organizations, including most recently the city council.
Yeah, so you're a legacy lawyer, right? So yeah. What's that look like? Did you know? Was there any pressure to become a lawyer, or did you just kind of decide you were going to do it?
No, did not receive any pressure. Obviously, received encouragement when I made the choice, but I chose to come back to Marion. I had opportunities to go off to big cities, but having studied in college in Cincinnati and law school in Akron, Ohio, decided that the big city life wasn't necessarily for me, and thought I'd be happier in a smaller community, and had a good opportunity to come back and work here.
Yeah, so this is making me jump out of order, but I want to address that. So coming back to Marion, why Marion? Because oftentimes, I told someone yesterday, Marion so frequently bleeds talent, right? We have a lot of talented people that come through here, even all of Grant County. So many talented people come through our area, but then they all often leave and go somewhere else. So for you, what was that choice to want to come back here and plant yourself here and be successful in Marion? Well,
first, a small community, but also I had the opportunity to work in a family business, and that is very unique. It's not for everyone. Certainly not in the legal field. It can be a challenge, but it's been very successful for me, and I've really enjoyed it.
So if you were going to encourage someone else who's considering Marion, or who's left and wanting to come back, what's some advice or encouragement you would give them about wanting to choose Marion, Indiana?
Well, our community has a significant need for attorneys, and as you noted, we've had a significant brain drain, losing a lot of talent over the years. And so what that's created is a lot of opportunity for people to come in and serve community in various capacities right away. When I came back, I was able to get into positions both professionally and in the community that usually you have to wait years in order to obtain. But given the voids that existed, I was able to step in. I've served on the Community Foundation Board since 2006, served as president for 3 years. And so that's been very nice to get involved. And also the size of our community lends itself to being involved with people. When you get into bigger cities, it's easy to get lost and to be isolated and not be engaged. And so that's one of the things that's been rewarding for me, is the ability to engage my work and my clients on a lot of levels. I see people that I work with and work for. I see them at the grocery store. I see them at the YMCA. Yeah. I see them in a lot of different things outside of work. And so it's nice to be able to maintain that connection and to see the impact that you can have as an attorney on people's lives.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a consistent message about Marion is the people and the connectivity that we experience because of our size. We're not, a 4,000 people city, but we're also not 50,000, 60,000 either. We're right in that middle of small, medium-sized cities where everyone knows everyone and we have really good relationships. And that's something that I always encourage everyone that Marion, so one of our biggest strengths are the people and the connectivity we have here. So with you at a law firm, now this is something personal I always wonder, right? So what's it like working at a firm? So you have different lawyers in your group. So you're not all by yourself as a lawyer. So what's the difference and what's it like being a part of a firm?
You have different attorneys that handle different types of cases, and we try to serve our clients and meet their needs to the best of our ability. And sometimes there are occasions where we're not able to do that, so we have to reach outside of our community and find outside counsel. And once again, putting our clients first and trying to figure out the best way that we can help them.
Yeah, and so that's a good one. Outside counsel. So most people think a lawyer is a lawyer is a lawyer, right? So let's explain what situations where one would need outside counsel, even for let's think from a governmental municipality situation. Why would we ever need outside counsel?
You get into pretty specific practices. The best one I can give you is when the city or a school entity has to get into borrowing money, and you need what we refer to as bond counsel to help conduct help prepare the necessary documents in order to finance projects, to finance development, and that's a very specialized area. And so we regularly work with attorneys in Indianapolis in order to see things through.
Yeah. So, I wanted to bring that up because oftentimes people criticize, why are you bringing these Indianapolis or big city lawyers? Why don't you just use everybody local? Which we want to use local people. So, I think that would be a good thing to talk about as well. On like bond counsel, for example, why is it better, or not necessarily better? Why should we or do we use Indianapolis firm versus like your local firm here?
They handle such a tremendous volume that allows for the specialization in that area. We would not in our county have a sufficient volume to be able to maintain that expertise.
And that's why I want people to understand. It's not like we're just searching out for it. We don't think Indianapolis is just inherently better than Marion, No. But there's different requirements and different volumes that help be successful.
We'd all love to be able to do everything.
Yeah, right.
But that's just it's difficult, and the law is an area where you can be highly specialized, and so there are times when you need attorneys that are experts in fields, and certainly bond counsel is one area. Patent and trademark is another area that's very common for us to seek outside counsel. And then there are other matters that you just would like a second opinion as an attorney, just to make sure that you're getting things right for your client.
So now, as an attorney, do you like the courtroom or do you like to stay out of the courtroom?
Both.
Yeah.
The courtroom is different, but it's also court is there to resolve disputes. And so, first things first, if you don't have a dispute, then you never see the inside of a courtroom. But when you do have disputes, then the courts are there, whether by judge or jury, to resolve the matter. And there's a lot of work that goes into both getting into court and also staying out of court. And so that's one of the misperceptions that exist on some of the TV shows as to how much people get into the courtroom and what lawyers do, and they don't develop enough the work and the time that's involved for lawyers that practice in areas that generally don't see the courtroom.
Yeah, that's funny because every show you watch, every single case goes right to the courtroom.
Yeah.
So, which I get it for the show aspect of it. But so now in your dealings, how many, if you was to give a rough percentage, how many times do you think things actually end up in the courtroom versus settled before or something?
Well, most cases settle.
Okay.
And the courts engage in what's called a mediation in civil cases is a way to resolve things. And mediation is simply having a formal negotiator that comes in and helps the parties to reach an agreement. And what that is it allows the parties to determine their own destiny, to keep their fate in their own hands, as a way to avoid having a judicial decision imposed upon them. And so it's been very successful. I've actually gone through the mediation training myself several years ago, and it's very, very helpful as an attorney that takes cases through mediation to have gone through that, to learn how to work with an opposing party, how to work with a mediator and your client in order to try to achieve the best results you can.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna throw a curveball at you, right? So we've been talking legal and all that stuff. What does Marty Harker like to do for fun?
I like to get outdoors. Like to go hunting, go fishing, stay active.
Yeah. Now, what some people might remember and what some don't know, I got listeners from everywhere. Thank you guys from all over city, state, national, and international. Marty was an avid tennis player.
Yes, in a former life.
Yeah, so now do you get to go out and do that anymore?
No, unfortunately, I don't. I've had shoulder surgery on each shoulder, so that's been limiting as I've aged, and in order to, not let that be too much of a problem, I've just chosen not to play much. But yes, I was a member of the 1991 state championship team here in Marion.
Check that out, man.
Yeah, and then I went on to play 4 years at the University of Cincinnati.
Nice. Yeah. So, what's next for Marty Harker?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Certainly, continuing to practice law and continue to develop that. Continuing to be active in the community. I've really enjoyed time with the Community Foundation and recently involved with the city. So looking forward to continuing to help the city and our county progress. We've experienced a tremendous downturn since about 1975. Our population peaked out at about 46,000, and I think we're down to about 28 now. And so we're a very common Rust Belt story, loss of manufacturing over time and trying to recover from that. And what does that look like in 2024 and going forward? And there's a lot of work to do. We talked about the brain drain and trying to overcome that and try to get people to come back to smaller communities, and that's a challenge. Yeah. But I think that with your leadership, we're working very hard in order to let people know that there is life outside the big city, and that it's a good place to be.
Yeah. Oh man, you made me think of a couple more questions now. So you mentioned getting people to come back to Marion, right? So say there's a attorney somewhere listening in a bigger city who might be from Marion or wanting to relocate. What is something you would say to them to try to convince them to come here?
Well, first, I think you can have a better connection with your clients. You're more likely to see them in other capacities other than just work, and you're also more likely to have clients come back to you for more than one thing, and so that allows you to have an impact and to see that over time. That's the first thing. It's also slower paced. You don't have to worry about a long commute. You don't have to worry about a lot of the big city pressures and the expenses that come with maintaining, the lifestyle in the big city.
Yeah, and then so the second thing I thought about, you mentioned about the the industrial boom we had and we blew up, and then now we're in the thick of trying to come up with a new identity for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And this is a question that I get often. How do we do that? Who do we want to be? How do we become that? And I got a lot of different ideas on myself, but coming from your perspective, what do you think Marion is now, and what do you think we need to be a successful small city?
Well, I think you're right. I think we're still struggling to try to develop an identity, and Marion is not alone. There are a lot of communities going through that. And I think the biggest thing we can show is that there's tremendous opportunity in any field that you want to go in. Small towns, including Marion and others, have a great need for talent in professional fields. And so there is a tremendous opportunity for people to come in, set up their own shop in any field that they'd like, in any business, in order to make a living. So I think that's one of the bigger things that we could work on is developing more entrepreneurship locally. Mm-hmm. A lot of talent has left, and in my opinion, we've lost a lot of our hustle. We need people that are working hard and want to succeed, and we have to do a better job of creating an environment for that here locally, as do other communities. And it's hard. You have to try to figure out ways in your community, ways to stand out in order to bring people back.
That's great, man. Well, I appreciate you for coming on the show, being a guest, and this is some great information, a great time speaking with you. Thank you all so much for listening to episode 5 of season 2 of the Morrell Speaks podcast. We're live on all major streaming platforms and now live on video on YouTube. Thank you so much.
Thank you.